The H1B guy here, and today we're going to answer the question of what's a H4 dreamer or hashtag H4 dreamer. You may have heard the term or seen the term H4 dreamer or hashtag H4 dreamer in the news or on social media recently and wondered what that meant, as it's also been very prevalent in the current administration's stance on DACA, as well as being deeply intertwined in the Senate Bill 386 debate. H4 Dreamer is the nickname used to describe an H4 dependent who is reaching the legal dependent age limit of 21 years of age. This is what's commonly referred to as aging out. On average, most H4 dependents enter the U.S. between the ages of 2 to 6. Thus, they live their entire adolescent life in the U.S. Their entire livelihood from friends, family, school, and even work in some cases is all here in the U.S. Entry Law, an Oregon-based immigration firm, filed a lawsuit in Oregon U.S. District Court at the end of June 2020 to save H4 dependents' rights and prevent them from aging out due to the green card backlog for individuals with India as the country of origin and final action employment-based preferences. We'll be keeping an eye on this case as it's the first to really challenge the H4 dependents' rights in U.S. federal court. The case refers to both the CSPA and DACA. The Child Status Protection Act, CSPA, does not help H4 dependent children, as it only has a provision to freeze their age if the H1B's perm labor priority date is current before the H4 dependent turns 21. Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA, also does not account for H4 dependent children, not even alluded to or mentioned in the law. As we discussed in the H1B Guy Live late last week, um, August 2020 visa bulletins show a final action date for employment-based preferences with India as the country of origin and EB2 as July 8th of 2009 and EB3 is October 1st, 2009. So let's think about that number specifically as it goes back to H4 dependent children that entered the US somewhere around the mid 2000s. One and possibly both of their parents' employment based perm labor was likely certified by USCIS sometime around July of 2009. If the H4 dependent was 5 years of age when they first entered the US under H4 in 2005, and their parents' perm labor was certified and a priority date was issued in July of 2009, that would make them around 9 years old in July of 2009 at the time the priority date was issued. Fast forward 11 years to July 2020, and they find themselves around 20 years of age and close to aging out on their H4. Once the current age out options become very limited, meaning, when they do age out, they don't have a lot of options in what they can do. Personally, I believe the best current option is to change status to F1 for undergrad and just take it from there. It provides the option of higher education, advanced learning, and allows them to remain in the US. The other option is to simply leave the country to a destination of their choosing that would grant them entry. Not really the best option if you don't want to be separated from everything you've known since you were 5 years old. As we've been discussing on the H1BGuy.com and here on the H1B Guy channel, one of the foundations for which the U.S. was built was family-based immigration. While this scenario falls under employment-based preferences, what needs to be understood is that they were minor children at the time of entry, and their visa was granted based on being tied directly to their parents' H-1B. These are tax-paying resident parents who have been living working and raising their children here in the US. As you can see, this is definitely a very combustible topic. I find myself on both sides of the argument. Why should they be allowed to stay, and why shouldn't they be allowed to stay? For me, the entire birthright argument here can be exhausting. Where I take issue is the aging out of the green card backlog. Dividing families based on country of origin discrimination for employment-based sponsorship is just not right. What do you think about the H4 Dreamer situation? Were you aware that thousands of H4 dependent children age out each year due to the green card backlog? If so, answer one of those questions. Leave me a comment below. For the full post, check out the H1BGuy.com. Subject, what is an H4 Dreamer? As always, please like and subscribe to the H1B Guy here on YouTube. Click the bell for notifications. The H1B Guy, your global source for all things H1B.